Hello, everyone. It's so nice to have you here again. I hope you're having a good day. How are you feeling right now?
Hi, everyone. Yes, it's great to be here with you again. Before we start today's lesson, let's talk for a moment. Emmy, let me ask you something simple. How was your day today?
My day was actually quite busy. I had many things to do. I made a big plan in the morning, but honestly, I only finished about half of it.
That sounds very familiar. I think many people listening to us feel the same way sometimes.
Yes, exactly. Life is like that. Sometimes we plan a lot, but we can't finish everything.
That's true. And this is actually a good reason for today's topic, because in everyday life, we always talk about plans, decisions, and future actions.
Right. We often say things like, "What will I do tomorrow? What am I going to do next week? What will happen later?"
And many English learners ask us the same question again and again.
Yes, the big question. What is the difference between will and going to?
Exactly. Many learners understand that both talk about the future, but they don't know when to use which one.
And sometimes this confusion makes people stop speaking. They worry about choosing the wrong word. But let us tell you something important right now.
Making mistakes while learning English is completely normal.
Yes, very normal. Even native speakers don't always think about grammar rules when they speak.
That's right. Most of the time, they simply feel the situation and speak naturally.
And today, we want to help you feel the difference too.
But before we slowly begin today's lesson, we have a small request.
If you enjoy learning English in a calm and friendly way,
If this podcast helps you feel more confident when you speak,
please like this episode and subscribe to Talk Emmi.
your support really helps us continue making these real-life English lessons for you.
All right, now let's start today's topic.
Okay, Emmy, let me ask you something simple.
Sure.
Do you already know what you will eat for dinner tonight?
Good question. Yes, I think I do. I'm planning to eat pasta tonight.
Oh, so you already made the plan.
Yes, I did. I even bought the ingredients this morning.
That's interesting. So listen carefully to this sentence.
I'm going to eat pasta tonight.
That sounds very natural because the plan already exists.
Exactly. I already decided earlier before this conversation.
Now let's imagine a different situation.
Okay.
Imagine you didn't plan dinner at all. You were just talking to a friend and suddenly you say,
I think I'll eat something light tonight.
perfect example. Did you notice the difference?
Yes, I did. In the first sentence, the plan already existed. In the second sentence, the decision happened at that moment.
Exactly. And that is the most important idea in today's lesson.
When we talk about grammar, we usually start with rules.
But today, we start with feeling the situation first.
So let's make it simple.
We use going to when we already have a plan,
A decision made before speaking.
something we already thought about earlier.
For example, I'm going to start exercising next week.
That means you already made the decision earlier. Maybe you even bought new shoes or made a schedule.
Exactly. The plan is already in your mind. That means the idea is already in your mind. You thought about it before this conversation.
Exactly. Maybe you already prepared a little. For example, maybe you bought new running shoes.
Or maybe you watched a few YouTube videos about workouts and exercise.
Yes, those small actions show that the plan already exists in your mind.
And when a plan already exists, we usually use going to.
Right. Now let's compare that with will.
Will is usually used for instant decisions.
That means decisions made at the moment of speaking, not before.
For example, imagine you are sitting at home quietly.
And suddenly the phone rings.
You didn't plan anything, but you quickly say, I'll answer it.
Exactly. The decision happened in that moment, not earlier.
You didn't plan to answer the phone 5 minutes ago.
It simply happened, and you reacted naturally.
Let's look at another example.
Okay.
Imagine you are sitting at home with a friend,
Your friend suddenly says, "I'm thirsty."
and you immediately reply, "I'll get you some water."
That is not a plan you made earlier.
It's a spontaneous decision.
Exactly. That is why will sounds natural in this situation.
Now let's talk about another important use of will.
Ah, yes, promises.
When we promise something, we usually use will,
For example, you might say, "I'll help you tomorrow."
or "Don't worry, I won't forget."
Promises often live in the world of will.
Because when we promise, we are giving our word about the future.
Now let's talk about predictions,
Good idea. Predictions can also use will.
especially when the prediction is based on opinion or belief.
For example, you might say, "I think it will rain today."
Here, you are not seeing anything special. It's just your opinion.
But imagine a different situation,
You look outside the window.
and you see very dark clouds in the sky.
Now you might say, "It's going to rain."
Because now you have evidence.
You can see the clouds. The situation tells you something is coming.
So again, English is not only about memorizing grammar rules.
It's about feeling the situation.
The context, the moment, the small signals around you.
That's why we always say learning English should not feel like pressure,
It should feel like understanding your thoughts more clearly.
and practicing a little bit every day,
Small practice, small improvements.
step by step.
Now that we understand the basic feeling of will and going to, let's talk about real-life situations.
Because that is where learners usually get confused.
Yes, especially when they start thinking too much.
They stop speaking for a moment,
They translate everything in their head.
and suddenly the conversation feels heavy.
But English should not feel heavy.
It should feel like a normal conversation about your life.
Your day, your plans, your small thoughts.
Let's imagine a very normal situation.
You are sitting at home in the evening,
Maybe you are relaxing on the sofa,
scrolling on your phone,
watching short videos or reading messages.
and suddenly you remember something important.
Tomorrow is Monday.
That one thought can change your whole mood.
Suddenly you start thinking about the next day.
And you might say something like, "I'm going to wake up early tomorrow,"
Why going to?
because you already know it.
Your mind has already accepted the plan.
Maybe you even imagine your morning alarm.
That is a future plan already living in your head.
Now imagine a slightly different moment.
Your phone suddenly rings.
It's your friend calling you.
Your friend asks, "Can you help me tomorrow morning?"
You didn't plan anything,
You didn't think about helping before.
but you answer quickly and say, "Okay, I'll help you."
That decision happened right in that moment.
And that is why will sounds natural,
This is where many English learners feel confused.
because both sentences talk about the future.
But the feeling behind them is different.
One is a plan.
The other is a quick decision.
Let's talk about another common situation.
Work.
Ah, yes, work conversations confuse many learners.
Imagine your manager asks you in the morning, "What are you doing this afternoon?"
And you already know your schedule.
Maybe you have a meeting or a project to finish.
So you say, "I'm going to work on the new report this afternoon."
Because that plan already exists in your schedule.
For example, imagine you say, "I'm going to attend a meeting at 3 p.m."
That sentence sounds very natural because the meeting is already planned.
Yes, maybe it is written in your calendar.
Or maybe your manager scheduled it yesterday.
So the decision was made earlier.
Exactly. That is why going to fits perfectly there.
But now imagine something unexpected happens.
The meeting suddenly gets canceled.
Your manager comes to you and asks, "Okay, what will you do now?"
And you quickly think for a moment.
Then you reply, "I think I'll finish my report."
Did you notice what happened there?
Yes, the first action was already planned.
But the second decision was made in that exact moment.
So the first sentence used going to.
And the second sentence used will.
This kind of situation happens every day in real life.
At work, at home, in shops, and in conversations with friends.
Now, let's talk about another common situation.
Offers.
Yes, offers are a very important area where will is used.
Imagine you are sitting with a friend.
You look at your friend and notice something.
Your friend looks tired.
Maybe they had a long day at work.
Or maybe they studied for many hours.
You didn't plan anything earlier.
But you feel a moment of kindness.
And you say, "I'll make you some tea."
That sentence sounds warm and caring.
Because will is very natural when we offer help.
It feels spontaneous and friendly.
Now, let's flip the situation.
Imagine you already planned something earlier.
Maybe you invited your friend to your house.
You prepared the living room.
You bought snacks from the store.
You maybe even cleaned the kitchen.
And you already decided what you will serve.
So when your friend arrives, you say, "I'm going to make tea for you."
In this situation, the tea was already part of your plan.
Both sentences are correct.
But the situation changes the choice.
That is why memorizing grammar rules alone is not enough.
Learners need to see the situation.
And more importantly, feel the moment.
Now let's talk about mistakes.
Yes, mistakes are a natural part of learning.
But many learners are afraid of them.
Some learners worry too much.
They think, if I say the wrong word, people will judge me.
But that is not how real conversations work.
In real life, people usually understand your meaning.
They do not stop the conversation just to correct your grammar.
Most people focus on the message.
They want to understand what you were saying.
For example, imagine you say, "I will go to the gym tomorrow."
But in reality, you planned it earlier.
Maybe technically, going to would sound more natural.
But your sentence is still clear.
People will still understand your plan.
Communication is still successful.
And confidence matters more than perfect grammar.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about predictions.
This is another area that can confuse learners.
Predictions can depend on evidence or opinion.
Imagine you look outside your window.
The sky is very dark.
You see heavy clouds moving across the sky.
The wind is getting stronger.
You almost feel rain in the air.
So you say, "It's going to rain."
Because you can see the evidence.
Now imagine a different moment.
You are simply talking with a friend.
You are not looking outside.
You don't see any clouds.
But you say, "I think it will rain later."
That is your opinion.
Not something you can see directly.
So again, the choice depends on feeling, situation, and context.
Let's bring this closer to daily life.
Because learners want English for real conversations.
Imagine you are learning English seriously.
You make a promise to yourself.
You say, "I'm going to practice English every day."
That is a clear plan.
You already decided it.
Maybe you even created a study schedule.
But one day, something different happens.
You feel tired.
Maybe you had a long day.
Maybe your mind feels a little lazy.
Then you say to yourself, "Okay, I'll practice for just 5 minutes."
That decision happened in that moment.
Both sentences are honest,
Both sentences are real.
but they use the future in different ways.
And that is how English lives in real life.
So far, we talked about many situations.
Plans,
Decisions,
offers,
predictions.
all of them help us understand will and going to.
But learners still make some common mistakes.
Yes, the same mistakes happen again and again.
So in the next part, we will look at those mistakes.
And we will show you how to avoid them in everyday conversation.
Yes, that's very true. Understanding the idea of a grammar point is one thing, but using it naturally while speaking is a completely different experience.
Exactly. Many English learners understand the rule when they read or listen to a lesson.
But when they start speaking, something different happens.
They suddenly freeze in the middle of the sentence.
They stop speaking for a moment.
They start thinking too much.
And slowly the rhythm of the conversation disappears.
That's something we see very often with learners.
Let's talk about the first common mistake learners make.
Yes, this one happens very frequently.
Many learners use will for everything.
I hear sentences like this all the time.
For example, I will go to the market tomorrow.
Or, I will meet my friend later.
And sometimes, I will study English tonight.
Now, technically, those sentences are understandable.
Yes, people will understand the meaning. But in many situations, they don't sound very natural. Because most of those actions were already planned earlier. The decision existed before the conversation started. So in many everyday situations, going to sounds more natural. For example, I'm going to meet my friend this evening. That sentence feels relaxed. It sounds natural. It sounds like real life. One interesting thing we notice is that many learners think will sounds more advanced. Yes, they sometimes believe it sounds stronger or more formal, but native speakers usually don't think that way. They don't think about which word sounds more advanced. Instead, they think about the situation, and they choose the word that fits the moment. Now let's talk about the second common mistake, using going to for sudden decisions. Yes, this can create slightly awkward moments. Imagine you are walking with a friend. Suddenly, your friend drops their phone. You see it fall to the ground, and you quickly want to help. If you say, I'm going to help you, it sounds a little strange, because the moment is already happening. The decision is immediate, so it sounds much more natural to say, I'll help you. Quick, simple, and natural. The language matches the moment. Now let's talk about something very interesting. Emotions. Yes, emotions can also change the grammar choices we make. That's very true. Imagine you are very angry. Maybe you just had an argument with someone. You feel frustrated and emotional, and suddenly you say, I'll never talk to him again. That sentence comes directly from your emotions. You didn't sit down and plan it carefully. You said it because of how you felt in that moment. And that's why will appears naturally there. Now imagine a calmer situation. You're not angry. But before we continue, I think we should talk about something very important.
Confidence.
Yes, because grammar alone does not build confidence.
Confidence grows when you start speaking.
It grows when you try.
And when you make small mistakes but continue speaking anyway.
So if you ever choose the wrong word between will and going to, don't stop speaking.
Don't feel embarrassed.
And don't apologize again and again.
Just keep going with the conversation.
Because fluency is not about perfection.
Fluency is about movement.
The more you speak, the more natural it becomes.
Now let's bring everything together.
Yes, let's combine the ideas we learned today.
We talked about rules.
We talked about situations.
We talked about common mistakes.
And we also talked about feelings.
Now it's time to help our listeners actually use this knowledge.
Because knowledge that stays only in your head is not enough.
English needs to come out of your mouth.
Naturally.
Calmly.
And without fear.
Let's start with a simple morning situation.
Good idea.
Imagine you wake up in the morning.
You slowly get out of bed.
You walk to the window and look outside.
The sky is dark.
There are clouds everywhere.
The wind feels heavy.
So you say, it's going to rain today.
Why did you say going to?
Because you can see the evidence.
You are not guessing randomly.
Now imagine something else happens.
Your phone suddenly buzzes.
You check the message.
It's your friend.
Your friend writes, I forgot my umbrella today.
You read the message and immediately reply,
Don't worry, I'll bring one for you.
That decision happened in the moment.
You didn't plan it earlier.
It was just a kind reaction.
This is a perfect example of how grammar follows life.
Not the other way around.
Now let's talk about work or study situations.
Yes, this is very important for many learners.
Imagine you were talking with a colleague.
You already decided something last night.
Maybe you looked at your tasks before going to sleep.
And today you say, I'm going to finish this report today.
That sentence shows a clear plan.
The decision already exists.
But suddenly, your boss walks into the room.
She looks a little stressed.
She says, "We need help with this file right now."
And without thinking too much, you reply,
"I'll help you."
"That is a quick decision."
Natural English.
Now let's talk about something powerful.
Emotional future statements.
Sometimes the future is not about plans.
Sometimes it is about emotions.
Imagine someone hurts your feelings,
You feel angry or disappointed.
and you say,
I'll never forget this.
that sentence comes from emotion.
Not from a calm, careful plan.
That is why will sounds natural there.
But later, when you feel calmer, something changes.
You start thinking more carefully,
You reflect on your life.
and you say something like,
I'm going to focus on myself.
that sentence sounds thoughtful,
It sounds mature.
and it sounds planned.
English often reflects your emotional state.
That is why memorizing grammar rules alone is not enough. You also need to feel the sentence.
Now let's help our listeners build a simple habit.
Yes, a small daily habit that anyone can practice.
Every night before you sleep, ask yourself 2 simple questions.
The first question is, what am I already planning for tomorrow?
When you answer that question, use going to,
For example, I'm going to wake up early.
or I'm going to study English for 30 minutes.
The second question is, what might happen suddenly tomorrow?
For those situations, use will,
For example, if my friend needs help, I'll help.
or if my teacher asks a question, I'll try to answer.
And here's an important tip.
Say these sentences out loud.
Even if you are alone,
Actually, especially if you are alone,
because your brain learns through practice.
not through pressure.
Now let's finish with a small conversation example.
Yes, this will help you hear the natural flow.
Imagine 2 friends talking in the evening. They are relaxing after a long day.
One friend says, "What are your plans for tomorrow?"
The other friend replies, I'm going to visit my parents in the morning.
Then suddenly the first friend says, "Oh, I forgot to buy groceries."
And the second friend quickly answers, don't worry, I'll go with you later.
In just 2 sentences, we used both futures.
And that is exactly how English works in real life.
Let's imagine another small conversation between 2 friends.
Yes, this will help our listeners see how will and going to appear naturally in real life.
One friend asks, "What are your plans for the weekend?"
The other friend thinks for a moment and replies, I'm going to visit my parents.
That sentence clearly shows a plan.
Yes, the person already decided earlier.
Maybe they planned it during the week.
Maybe they even bought a bus or train ticket.
So the decision existed before the conversation started.
Now imagine something unexpected happens.
Suddenly, the phone rings.
The friend answers the phone.
It's another friend calling.
The voice on the phone says, hey, we need help moving some furniture tomorrow.
The person didn't plan to help before.
But they quickly think for a second and reply,
Okay, I'll come after lunch.
did you notice what happened in this conversation?
Yes, we used 2 different ways to talk about the future.
The first one was a plan.
I'm going to visit my parents.
The second one was a decision made in the moment.
I'll come after lunch.
Both futures appeared in the same conversation.
And there was no confusion at all.
Everything made sense because of the context.
And that brings us to the secret word of today's lesson.
Context.
Not grammar fear,
Not memorizing long grammar tables.
but understanding the situation around the sentence.
Before we finish today's episode, let's talk about confidence one more time.
Yes, because this is very important for language learners.
Sometimes learners worry too much about choosing the perfect grammar.
They think every sentence must be perfect.
But real conversations are not like grammar textbooks.
If you sometimes mix will and going to, it is usually okay.
People will still understand your meaning. Communication always comes first.
Perfection comes later.
And sometimes perfection never fully comes.
And that is completely fine.
Because real English is flexible.
It is alive.
It is human.
So let's remember a few simple ideas from today.
If you are talking about a plan, use going to.
If you make a decision in the moment, use will.
If you see evidence, you can use going to.
If you make promises, offers, or emotional statements, will often feels natural.
These simple ideas are enough to start speaking today,
Not tomorrow,
not next week.
but today.
And if today's podcast helped you feel even a little more confident with English,
Please support us.
you can subscribe to the channel.
You can like this episode.
And you can share it with a friend who is also learning English.
Your support helps us create more lessons like this.
More real conversations.
More simple explanations.
And more human English learning.
Remember, we are not here to teach perfect English.
We are here to help you use English
With confidence.
with clarity.
And with courage.
Thank you so much for listening today.
We hope this lesson made English feel a little easier.
And a little more natural.
We will see you in the next episode.
Until then, keep practicing
Keep speaking.
and keep believing in your progress.
Bye, everyone.
See you soon.